السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهد الله فلا مضل له من يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد إن أصدق حديث كتاب الله عز وجل وأحسن حديث محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر أمور محدثاتها وكل محدث في الإسلام بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. Our praise and thanks is due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We praise Him and we extol Him. We send the finest of salutations on Muhammad ibn Abdullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Where the most truthful of speech is the book of Allah tabarak ta'ala, the Quran Majid, and the finest guidance is that of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And the most evil of affairs are the newly invented ones, bid'ah. And every bid'ah in Islam is going astray, and every going astray leads to the hellfire. Nasallallahu al-afiyah with the bad. My khutbah with you all today will be regarding the great need that we have for trustworthiness. In Arabic, it is named or called Al Amana. And although Amana is similar in meaning to Eeman or faithfulness, they are different. But at the same time, if one goes, the other will necessarily follow. As has occurred in the hadith in the Musnad, Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal, and the authority of Anas ibn Malik, who stated that Mashallah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam has stated, La iman liman la amana lahu, wa la deen liman la ahda lahu. Uqam sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. That there is no iman, no faith for one who cannot be trusted. And there is no deen, there is no religion for the person who cannot keep their word. So being a faithful believer is something which is part and parcel of being a trustworthy individual. These things go hand in hand. Being a faithful believer and being a trustworthy individual are part and parcel of one another. And a few weeks back, on our series regarding the Ashrat al-Sa', the signs before the coming of the hour, I mentioned the signs of the emergence that will occur before the emergence of the Masih al-Dajjal. And one of the hadith I mentioned was on the authority of Anas ibn Malik, who reported that Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, just prior to the emergence of the Masih al-Dajjal, the one-eyed liar, the Antichrist, there will be sanawat al-ta'at, there will be years of deceitfulness. And the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he went on to describe that the truthful will be considered as liars, and those liars will be considered as truthful individuals, and those people who are trustworthy will be considered as deceitful, and the deceitful ones will be considered as trustworthy. Everything will be opposites. It will be difficult for us to ascertain the truth. And he said that Ruwaybida will be speaking a lot. The Sahaba, they asked the Prophet ﷺ, who is this Ruwaybida? Who is this? What is this? He said, a rajulun tafi, a very small, insignificant individual who will be speaking about the affairs of the common folk. So with this in mind, in this era of social media moguls, we see that many people have been totally deceived by the well-spokenness of those individuals, the affluency of those individuals, and the celebrity status of those individuals, due to the fact that we see the numbers or the thousands of followers that they have amassed, not realizing that these might be the individuals who the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was referring to by saying that these little, wicked, insignificant people will be speaking the most about the affairs of the common folk. So it is for this reason, bi'idhnillah, that I chose to give this reminder today, because we need to wake up. We need to, as believers, wake up to the fact that there's many people who are speaking, but they're not worthy for us to lend the ear to. We have to understand that this is the days, and these are the days and the times that we're living in, leading up to the emergence of the Masih al-Dajjal. And we need to understand the real value of trustworthiness, al-amana, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in Surah Ahzab, verse number 72 to 73. Inna aradna al-amana ala samawati wal-ard wal-jibala wa bayna an yahmilnaha wa shaqfna minha hamna al-insan innahu kana dhuluman jahula liyu'adhibu Allah al-munafiqin wal-munafiqat wal-mushrikeen wal-mushrikat wa yatubu Allah ala al-mu'minin wal-mu'minat wa kana Allah ghafurur rahim. Al-ayah. Truly we did offer the amana, trustworthiness, to the heavens and the earth and the mountains, but they declined to bear it. And they were afraid of it, but mankind bore it. Verily he was unjust and ignorant, so that Allah will punish the hypocrites, men and women, and the idolaters, men and women, and Allah will pardon the believers, men and women, and Allah is all-forgiving, most merciful. And Ibn Abbas, the Mufassir of this ummah, has stated regarding this ayah that this verse is speaking about al-amana, and the amana means obedience. Al-amana means obedience. Trustworthiness means obedience. And this obedience was offered to these inanimate objects before they were offered to our father Adam alayhi salam. and they refused to bear it. They refused to bear this responsibility. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala offered it to our father Adam alayhi salam. And Adam alayhi salam, he asked Allah, what does this amana entail? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that if you do well, you will be rewarded. And if you do evil, you will be punished. So Adam alayhi salam took on the responsibility of al-amana, trustworthiness, not realizing the weightiness of this thing. And this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala meant in regards to وَحَمَلَ الْإِنسَانِ إِنْهُ كَانَ ظُلُومًا جَهُولًا. And mankind bore this responsibility, and he underestimated the significance of trustworthiness and faithfulness of character. Trustworthiness and faithfulness of character is a thing of the past, is what they're saying in this era. That it is totally obsolete when it comes to those social media moguls. That we listen to them and we watch them and we see how much ratings they have, and we take their words as truth, not realizing that they are full of hot air. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Some of the Salaf, they said that they would say, do not be deceived by the prayer of a man, nor by his fasting. For so whoever willed, they can pray and they can fast, but there is no deen for the one who cannot be trusted. There's a hadith in this regard, in regards to trustworthiness and faithfulness of character. In the Musnad, Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal, and for the Anas ibn Malik, was said that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said, ثلاثة من كنا فيه فهو منافق إن صام وصلى وحج واعتمر وقال إني مسلم إذا حدث كذب وإذا وعد أخلف وإذا أؤتم خان. أو كما قال صلى الله عليه وسلم, whosoever has three characteristics is a hypocrite, is a munafiq. Even if he prays, he fasts, he goes to Hajj and Umrah, and he claims to be a Muslim, if when he speaks, he lies. When I say he, I mean he or she. If when the person speaks, they're in the habit of lying, not a slip of the tongue, they thought about it, and they concocted a lie to deceive you. And this is one of the three characteristics. There are many narrations regarding the Sifat Munafiq, and there are many books and Rasala that has been written about the characteristics of the hypocrite. In this hadith, the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, if the person fasts, he prays, he goes to Hajj and Umrah, and claims to be a Muslim, if when we speak, we're in the habit of telling lies, when we make a promise, we are in the habit of always breaking our promise, and when we're entrusted, we fail the trust. If we are entrusted, the Sahaba Ikram, if they were entrusted with something and it was wrapped with a red ribbon, 10 years later they would return the amana with the red ribbon intact. Nowadays, this is a characteristic that has been lost. Trustworthiness, my dear brother Eeman, is part and parcel of our Eeman. A person can do all of those great deeds, as the Prophet ﷺ mentioned in this hadith: Hajj, Umrah, fast, pray. But if we cannot be a person of integrity, then these are of no use to us in this life or in the hereafter. There's a hadith on the authority of Hudhayfa ibn al-Yaman. And we need to know about Ashab Ikram, radhiyallahu majma'in. Who was Hudhayfa ibn al-Yaman? He was known to be the keeper of secrets of the Prophet ﷺ. Hudhayfa ibn al-Yaman, he said there's a narration that that the Prophet ﷺ, he told us, one of which I've already seen, and I'm waiting to see the other. He told us that Al Amana, trustworthiness, was sent down from the heavens and was deeply rooted into the hearts of trustworthy individuals. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent down the Quran. And those people of Amana, they recognized it and they accepted it. And the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam went on and said that they recognized it from the Quran and from the Sunnah. Then he sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us that Al-Amana, trustworthiness, will be taken out of the hearts of man. And he sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that a man will go to sleep and trustworthiness will be taken out of his heart. Allahu Akbar. Leaving nothing in his heart except a trace, like a blister. Like when you take a hot coal and you rub it over your leg. And the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam took an ember and he rubbed it on his leg and he's shown that it would be like a blister, protruding, but there will be nothing inside of that blister. He said that you would go around. He went on to describe how a man will be lost. He said that you will go around and you will hardly find a person, رجل واحد, a person who would keep their word, until it would be said that among such and such a tribe you will find so and so, and there is a dependable, trustworthy, honorable man, and it will be said about that man how strong he is, how nice he is, how wise he is, but there will not even be a mustard seed of faith in his heart. Then Hudhayfa ibn al-Yaman said, no doubt there came upon me a time when I did not mind doing business with any one of you, for if he was a Muslim, his Islam would compel him to pay me what is my due. And if he was a Jew or a Christian, the Muslim authorities would compel them to pay me my due. But today, in that time, he said, I only deal with so-and-so and such individuals. This is also similar to the hadith in Sahih Muslim, where the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that the people, you said you will hardly find the people to be like 100 camels. And you would hardly find out of that 100 camels, one that's fit to ride. Allahu Akbar. It's as if the Prophet ﷺ is saying that it's going to come a time, or there will come a time when real men will be a rare commodity. And it will be like 1 in 100 that you'll find a real trustworthy individual, man or woman, male or female. It'll be a rare commodity to find a real, true, blue, trustworthy individual. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us and make us strong believers in word and deeds. Ameen, ameen, ameen. Bismillah, wa salatu salam ala Rasulullah wa ala alihi wa sallam wa ba'd. In closing, I would like to give some final clarification regarding the way in which trustworthiness is similar to Eeman, faith, and how we all vary in this regard. Some of us, la shak, without a doubt, are excellent in certain aspects of our character and our deen. On the other hand, we have many who, no fault of their own, they are just not strong enough in personality and character. And in either case, there's always room for improvement. As has been narrated in the Sahih Hadith, who reported that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has stated, Al-mu'mina khawi khair wa hab ilallah min al-mu'mina da'if wa fi khulil khair. That the strong believer is better and more beloved to Allah than the weak believer, but in both cases there is goodness. He said, Ahras, ala ma yanfa'ak, wa sa'iz billah. Always seek after that which will benefit you. And seek help in Allah. This is the hadith. Seek help in Allah. If something were to overtake any of us, we shouldn't see, if I did this, this would have happened, or if I did that, that would no. He said, because if we say this or that, it just opens up the doors of the shaitan. We should say, Qadar Allah ma sha'a fa'al. If something happens unexpectedly, we say, Qadar Allah ma sha'a fa'al. The believers, we do not fear the blame, lawmatul la'in. We do not fear the blame of the blamers. If we were late, if we fell short, we know we made every effort, every concerted effort to do our best. But if we fell short of the mark, we know that it's no fault of our own. We made every effort, but we fell short of the mark. We also know the hadith of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, talk about the heart, where the amana is, where our faith is, our trustworthiness, our truthfulness, our Eeman, our faith, our belief in Allah is in our hearts. And then it will spring forth from our words and our actions. He said that we have a piece of meat. The Prophet said that, and each and every one of us, there's a piece of meat. إذا صلحت صلح الجسم كله. إذا فسد فسد الجسم كله. ألا وهي القلب. وقال صلى الله عليه وسلم. If it is good and wholesome and pure, then our whole body will be good, wholesome and pure. If that piece of meat, our heart, is corrupt, then our whole body will become corrupt. So this is what we have to look at within ourselves. Why do we have to lie? Why do we have to be deceitful? It's not a matter of life and death. As believers, we should always seek to speak the truth. We should always seek to be a person of integrity. This is the way of the believers. Alhamd. And a strong believer, as the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that, is more beloved to Allah than a weak believer. But they're both, in both cases, there is goodness. So, as this hadith is suggesting to us, is that as believers, we must know ourselves. We shouldn't bite off more than we can chew. We must know our limitations in life. And for the younger people who are here, you have to start to inculcate this characteristic of trustworthiness in your life. Stop watching those social media moguls and listening to them. Be somebody within yourselves. Be someone who is true and real and trustworthy within yourselves. Make your own mark in life before you become someone who is labeled as a follower, as a person who just follows trends and just talks about other people, and you don't know them. You have no idea who they are behind the scenes. They can be just putting on a facade in front of the camera, and they make a lot of money. They fooled over 8 billion people. They just need a few million people to buy what they're selling. And then that's it. They become rich. As a brother once said to me, what his father told him, his father said, son, know your limits and stay within it. Well, alhamd. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless that brother. May Allah have mercy on his father who gave him this wise advice. So I want to leave us with one hadith, which is Sahih, in Sahih Muslim, on the authority of Abu Dharr. And as I mentioned, we must know the Sahaba. We must understand the value of these companions. Abu Dharr, who was a great Sahabi, and he is narrating about himself. And this hadith always makes me laugh. Abu Dharr, he asked the Messenger of Allah, "O Messenger of Allah, will you not appoint me to a position of leadership? Will you not give me a position of leadership?" The Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Abu Dharr, is saying that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he struck me in my chest. He hit him in his chest. He said, "Ya Abu Dharr, innak anta da'if." He said, "Oh Abu Dharr," hit him in his chest. He said, "Oh Abu Dharr, you're weak. You're a weak individual. إنها الأمانة وإنها يوم القيامة خزيا وندما إلا من أخذها بحبلها وأدل الذين عليها. He said that this is a trust. This is an amana. Except for the person who takes it, أخذها, who takes it with trustworthiness and fulfills the rights that are included in this thing. In another narration, the Prophet ﷺ said, Abu Dhar, I love for you what I love for myself. Do not even be an amana, take the trust over two individuals. Or don't even hold on or manage the assets of an orphan. He was a very pious individual, Abu Dhar al-Ghafari. But the Prophet ﷺ gave him sincere advice. Which one of us are listening and understanding ourselves to the point where we know our limitations? Where we understand ourselves to the point that we know that this isn't something that I should be involving myself in. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless all of us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy on all of us. May Allah azza wa jal keep us all guided. Al-Sabil al-Rashad. Ameen, Ameen, Ameen. Inna Allah wa malaikatahu yusalluna ala nabi. Ya alladhina amanu. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad. Kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala Ibrahim. Innaka Hamidum Majid. Allahumma barak ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad. كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة